A lucky escape for this car's owner. She was at work in Enniskillen when Storm Amy toppled a tree, crushing it completely. The worst of the weather hit the west, an amber warning bringing winds of up to 80 miles per hour. Coastlines felt the brunt of the storm. Many ferry sailings from Larne and Belfast have been cancelled as the worst of the weather endures. For those tempted to capture the waves and brave the elements, a warning to take extra care.
If you are going out, stay back from drops, piers, cliff edges, that sort of thing. Weather conditions obviously at the minute is a bit horrific. If you are going out, make somebody aware, and also take a fully charged mobile phone with you in case you get into difficulties. You can call for help.
Storm Amy has brought disruption to travel across sea, land and air. Some flights have been cancelled or rerouted. This plane struggled to land at Belfast City Airport earlier, lifting up to circle round as winds picked up. Cars struggled through flooded roads outside Larne as heavy rain worsened conditions. The Education Authority cautioned schools in amber zone counties to close at midday. Even in Belfast, some schools decided to shut their doors at noon.
I imagine it's a lot of trouble for other people. I understand traffic's bad, the car park here's a bit of a disaster. It's not the school's fault, I understand, but I wouldn't have been for it.
At the moment we don't have any choice, Well,
if it's health and safety, then yes, all parents have to put the well-being of their kids and staff as a priority.
It's sensible, but hopefully it doesn't come to anything, and if it doesn't come to anything, it's like all this chaos just for rain.
The severe weather conditions have moved councils to close parks, cemeteries and recycling centres, while some country parks and sports pitches decided to close their gates too. For those working in tourism, the amber warning has had an immediate impact.
So we all have to take it in the chin at times. I know that's not easy for business owners. The parks are closed, the council closed their attractions. We were supposed to be up for 2 awards tonight in the Fermanagh Business Awards, but of course it's been postponed. And so I think we all have to be mindful that, listen, given the risk, we just need to be very careful and look after each other.
In the Republic, Storm Amy also battered coastlines. Those living in County Donegal were told to shelter in place after a red wind warning was issued by Met Éireann. Road clearing is already underway as winds continue to whip across Northern Ireland. Storm Amy may be the first of the season, but will she leave a lasting impact? Eden Wilson, ITV Live.
Well, the weather has been pretty miserable right across the south of Scotland and Cumbria today, with heavy rain being felt. Those yellow weather warnings are for wind or rain or both in parts of the region, although the worst is being felt in the Northwest Highlands or Northern Ireland, where there are amber alerts in place. As a result, the ferry sailings between Cairnryan and Northern Ireland have been affected, as have train services. As we're seeing here in Carlisle, some have been delayed and some have been cancelled.
Safety has to come first, and with the volume of wind speed and rain that we're expecting, for the safety of passengers, we have to put in these mitigations. We've got our dedicated meteorologists who are based in our control. They're surveying the pattern of the storm and they're able to deploy teams to where they need to go. But we've got maintenance teams, we've got engineers, we've got rapid response teams, we've got chainsaw teams, you name it, we've got it, and the guys are all dedicated to try and get in there, remove any obstacles that have found themselves in the line and get those lines reopened as soon as possible.
The advice today was very much to travel earlier rather than later, with those weather warnings coming into effect earlier this afternoon. The good news is, though, that they're mostly going to remain in place up until midnight tonight, except for the wind warning, which remains in place until midnight tomorrow. That does mean that some events across the region have been cancelled, and that includes the Great Scottish Run taking place in Glasgow that made the decision to cancel the events for children to make sure they're kept safe. So the advice is very much to travel with care, or if you can today, to stay home and let Storm Amy blow over.
Yes, up here you can see that the wind really does blow, and with the up to 70 miles per hour winds expected, it can be quite a problematic spot. We've already had a few lorries not taking the risk, turning round already. The road isn't yet shut, but we have heard already that the Tees flyover is closed to high-sided vehicles already. On the trains, TransPennine Express and LNER are warning of disruption all weekend, saying that really, if you don't need to travel by train, just don't. In Northumberland, Kielder marathon events that were due to take place tomorrow have now been rescheduled for Sunday. Orange Pippa Market in Middlesbrough is not taking place, and the outdoor events there. Newton Aycliffe Street Food Festival is not going ahead, and attractions like Bamborough Castle, Cragside, Alnwick Gardens, things like that will not be open tomorrow either. Cleveland Fire Brigade have told us to avoid coastal areas and exposed areas, and you can see that this is the effect of exposed areas. If we turn into the west here, the wind and the rain really is coming in. You can see that the gate is still open on the A66, but that could change any minute with these winds picking up. So any drivers really wanting to travel west should approach with caution.
Storm Amy has finally arrived and there are weather warnings aplenty.
Yeah, there really are. We've been talking about this really since the beginning of the week, and then it was confirmed, and it certainly is pretty unusual to actually be seeing a storm of this sort of strength this early in storm season, but already we've seen a gust of 96 miles an hour across western Scotland, and currently we've got 52,000 people without power across some parts of Northern Ireland. So it's definitely pretty significant. Now, this is Storm Amy moving in, scooting around the northern parts of the UK, and then gradually, as we move throughout the second half of the weekend, disappearing towards Scandinavia. So it's a pretty quick affair, really. I mean, the strength of those winds, it couldn't really be anything other than that, but it is having really quite significant impacts. Now, of course, storms are always wind events, but we also have a wind and rain event. So let's just take our time to go through the current weather warnings. So starting off then with the wind. Now, remember the track of the centre of Storm Amy, which of course is just a very intense area of low pressure. And as it continues its journey north, northwest, and then finally tipping over the top of the UK, that's where we see these amber warnings slowly starting to click off. But really, for much of Saturday, we've got amber weather warnings still in force across the UK. More widely, you can see that everyone is going to be seeing a very windy picture indeed. But let's have a look at that rain as well. The rain comes sort of in two batches, and that rain is mostly going to be warnable there across the northwestern parts. But as I say, everyone is going to be seeing a real spell of some heavy rain for a time, and that could cause some impacts. Let's have a look at the forecast. So it is all about Storm Amy as we look ahead to the weekend, of course. And as I say, it's really the next sort of 24, 36 hours. Storm Amy moving in with disruptive winds and, as I say, very wet in places. Mostly where we've got those weather warnings is where we've already got saturated ground. So we've got these warnings widely across the UK as we've already been through. There's the centre of the low moving off the scene slowly as we look ahead to tonight, and in its wake, really still quite strong and impactful winds. The temperature's actually being held up a little bit overnight, but really they're neither here nor there when you're considering that level of impact in terms of that wind and rain. But the rain really coming in two batches, as I say. There's that first one going through, and then this kind of swirl, this kickback from the top part of the low, that's going to start moving in across the UK more generally through Saturday. So there's that system then, as you can see, which is going to be slowly making its way across the UK as we move through Saturday. It's a wet and windy picture for everyone for a time. Quite a narrow band of rain, really, but in the wake of that, there are some pretty hefty, quite beefy showers. But definitely it is going to be a windy picture for everybody, and we've still got that amber weather warning there as the strongest winds just focus on the northern parts of Scotland. Then we move on to Sunday. Remember the track of that storm, the centre of the low is safely out towards Scandinavia. Quickly, we had a yellow weather warning towards the north to start the day, and then we're just left with a windy day with sunny spells and showers and feeling quite a lot colder as well. Have a lovely weekend despite it all.